letting the magician do his thing.
Oh, you got silent. Say something. Your sound is not on. Cannot hear you. Okay, try. No. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
No.
And
Yes.
if it's okay, I see why. I knock off my connection. Okay,
Mm.
I think it's working here.
So fascinating.
Yes. So,
Mm.
welcome everyone catching the replay, or if by any miraculous chance you're catching this live as we're streaming it, this is by no way planned or all of that. It's just Anna saying, hit record, and I'm like, okay, recording is playing it safe. We're doing it live. And so here we are. And we're about to jump into a big piece of the puzzle in our lives. And you get to bear witness to it and also benefit from whatever it means for you. So, um, in each person's life, there's a story where we all bump up into this space of not getting what we want. And there are many reasons and facets to why, as to why that is. And so we're exploring ours. So here we are. So I was saying earlier to you, Anna, that you know that the thing that drives you forward is is love. That's what calls you forward.
Mhm.
And because you know that, you tend to anything that you have chosen up until now, you tend to set up this beautiful obstacle course to show and make it really challenging. You kind of want the best of the best challenge. If there's to be a challenge, you're choosing the best of the best.
Oh my
And
gosh, yes.
and you go above and beyond and all the things to make sure that that stays true to your standards and requirements, right?
Yeah.
Because you love to play the game of showing yourself how good you are at something, right? Because you know you can do this. I mean, on a higher level, your higher self, you know that you can do this, so you make it almost impossible, right? And then you watch yourself go through the storyline of that journey over and over again. And so when it comes to men and money, it's a topic again for many of us. We can relate to it because uh, men, regardless if it's our husband, our lover, our soon to be lover, our son, any masculine person, um, there's a certain energetic dynamic to that. And with money, there's a similar masculine energy that money flows or shows up with, right? So it is available, and yet it's a dance between the feminine energies of as well of creating that and then receiving that, right? So the feminine energy doesn't come in so much in the creation of it. It already is, right? So in choosing somebody to date, to be a partner, or whatever it is, you are actually choosing not to get something from that person, or not for that person to validate you or what you already know of yourself, right? Because you know on a soul lesson, you know the energetics of this game. On a soul lesson, you already set up this obstacle course. You already set up these things, and this guy is showing up to play this game with you, right? This role. And so to actually come into this space from your true essence of who you are, it's not having to prove yourself worthy or to work for it, even though you are the warrior. That's not the energy in which you come. But you recognize that one of the it's an obvious truth. One of the main ways in which you approach thing and you know that you're hitting it from your true essence is integrating pleasure in it. So pleasure in the experience of whatever you're choosing. And that's why, and this is why I say it's so obvious. That's why in your branding you talk about yumminess.
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
the whole point of all of this.
Mm.
Because in this striving for something or to being outstanding, it's not a proving energy, right? Because you know the opposite of it is settling, and
Mm.
that's what you're showing everybody to not settle.
Mm.
But yet people think they need to strive for something or to work hard to get to the other side of not settling. And
Mm.
your truth and your essence has always been like, no, it's really amazing, it's yummy,
Mm.
right? And you tell people that, and it's pleasure in doing all the things that are required in having that experience, having it to your standards, having it to your requirements, having your needs met, having the experience you want, like all of those things being done beautifully in a package.
Mm.
You would use the word yumminess for that experience,
Mm.
right? So what that ultimately means for you then is you don't have to necessarily set up an obstacle course if you don't want to, but it also means that you don't have to demolish every obstacle course you've set up, because it is part of the game. It is part of the thing that pulls you forward or pushes you forward in a way, whichever direction you want to take that energy. But again, it's the place in which you come from in choosing that energy, right? Because you're choosing it now to be like, oh, I get to have all these things. I know that I'm gonna be amazing at them anyway. And my true purpose in all of this is the yumminess of the experience. It's not an attachment to outcome. And that's why for you energetically, when people talk about goals and setting goals and achieving goals, that model would not work for you because it has to embody the energetic frequency of pleasure.
Mm.
That's what it is for you.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I know we've had a conversation in the past where you have questioned the fact of, well, when I say yumminess, would people really understand what I'm talking about? Is
Mm.
it food? Is it, sex? What is it? What is yumminess? And
Exactly.
yet it's a savoring, it's a pleasure in all the things. And that has been your signature word for it.
Mm.
So what did you get from all the things that I said?
Like you're saying, it's a frequency of being rather than the energy of the doing. It's another flavor. It's like it's a completely different thing. Like the doing might be a very similar thing, but the energy of pleasure while doing it then
Exactly.
changes the whole game.
Yes, because it's not to not do. Of course, you are doing. That's who you
Yeah.
are. It's as a warrior frequency.
Yeah.
But it's not from a proving place or having to maintain your reality,
Mm.
some status quo or something. It's not that. It's just that you will naturally do it because it is who you are. It is your standards and requirements, and you're having the pleasurable experience of the journey in doing it while you're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And
and the outcome of it.
yeah.
So yeah, in doing it, whatever shows up as but it's like if ever your mind goes into the space of end results or goal oriented things, it
Mm.
kind of knocks out the frequency of pleasure, and then you start to overthink and you go into your saboteur, and
Mm. Yep.
we all know how that what that looks like as well. So
And then it's not fun for anyone. Mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel you have um,
Mm.
unlocked what it really means to have what you want and what that looks like,
Mm.
and the energy that is required for you to be in having that experience.
Yeah.
And this is what it
Yeah.
is.
And also to be the conscious creator of it,
Yes. Yes.
because previously it felt like I was put in a situation, and then I was like, okay, how do I deal with this? I was going to say, how do I manage this? Right? That's because it felt like with the energy I was coming in, then that's a little bit how I felt. All right, how do I handle this? How do I, all right, no, this is not what I want. And no.
But the situation that you felt that you were being put into was one that was created by you,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And so you weren't taking a moment to step back and be like, well, wait a minute, what, I know I created this thing. Is it still relevant, or was I doing it from an energy of proving?
Mm.
You know, or and then if you realize that no, you're not in the game of proving, and then you're like, okay, well, do I want to play this game with all my obstacle, my obstacle course that I created here? Does it look fun? Do
Yeah.
I still want to go ahead with this? And then you choose that from a place again of pleasure, and you get to discern too, because sometimes you might be in a space of saboteur and then you avoid it. You're like, no, this is too hard, and then you push it away, and then you also spiral into victim and all of that. And
Mm.
that's not the point. The point is really again where you're choosing that stuff from. It's not about getting rid of all the obstacles or
Mm.
always creating an obstacle course.
Yeah.
You get to decide, and that's where I feel that it's the fine tuning of what it means to be a creator, and having the choice. Because okay, so here's the energy of two, and not necessarily in the having of it, but in the creating of it. The energy as a creator, that you first created it, and then when you're about to have the experience of it, you also get to, in that moment, choose again, decide
How
again if that's what you want. Yes.
funny.
Yes.
The two.
Yes. Yes.
Oh man. Wow. I feel mind blown a bit.
Of course. This
Mhm.
is me. This is us talking about your entire life here and how you
Yeah.
operate.
Yeah. Oh man. Wow. Oh. Okay. This is very cool. I am okay. So I will be very mindful of using the word curious from now on.
Yes, because we talked about that one. So
Yes.
let's backtrack a little bit. So we realized a little early on before we hit the recording button for this, that when Anna uses the word curious, it's her secret word, so to speak, in her letting herself know that she has created an obstacle course.
Because when I have a situation, I'm like, I'm curious what this is about. But the fact is, I'm super triggered. I'm super annoyed. I'm like, what the actual F is happening here? I do not like this one bit, but
Yes.
I'm aware. So I know that there's something in it for me, but I do not enjoy the circumstances of what the reality looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. And the missing part is when you say there's something in it for you, it's because you have created it. So obviously there is something in it for you. Your energy is there, but it's that discernment in your choice of being like, okay, is this the way I want to play it out at this time? And is this what's required? Because it calls in the energy of the magician now in terms of timing and what's required in the time that you're in. Because you're not going to apply some 17th century rule to this time, or sometimes that is the thing that is required because of the nature of the thing that you want to unlock. So you get to really see what it means about place, time, and timing.
Yeah.
right? So your magician is being called. So maybe that is the second part in your twice. Like, okay, warrior set up the things, brought all the resources, and the magician gets to be like,
Mm.
you know, how do we want to play this?
Interesting.
Right?
And the magician is so elusive to me. It's like,
Yes, yes. And yet it's such a simple thing. And you've seen me demonstrate that again and again in my life, and even just a few minutes ago before we
you
got
do
here.
this, you do this, and it's like, okay, wait, what happened?
I know. Because here's the fun part about the
Obvious.
magician.
I'll say the obvious.
Yes. So for me, the magician, it's so easy, and it's so much fun to have what you want. Um, that sometimes I don't bother. And so Anna's assignment to me today was to state the obvious, because it's so obvious to me, and I'm like, yes, been there, done that, moving on. And some people don't yet get all the things that I already see and already did, and like, okay, I'm gonna pause for a little longer and state the obvious. What is obvious to me?
Yep, yep.
Yes. So that's what I want to share today, and for Anna to have the best benefit of this, of course.
Mm.
This is our morning conversation that we tend to do when we're rolling out of bed. At least I'm rolling out of my bed. Anna's up quite a bit because she's on the other side of the world in Europe, and the magic never stops.
Forever.
All right. Thank you all. Talk to you later. Bye.